GT/KG Lounge. The proposition is it's not the case that abortion is wrong. I'm going to be taking the affirmative. BT3 is going to be taking the negation. So the reason why it's not going to be wrong is because we can just take some type of Alethic nihilism here and say that there is no such thing as truth. If there is no such thing as truth, then we try to input the proposition abortion is wrong through some type of truth function. You can't consistently get truth in and truth out. In order to have truth, you need truth in and truth out to be able to operate successfully. So we could just affirm that it's not the case that abortion is wrong based on that reason.
Okay, so your argument is that if it's true that truth doesn't exist, then
No,
abortion
I
is
didn't say
immoral?
anything about that. No. I said we can affirm that truth doesn't obtain, and then it's not going to be true that abortion is wrong.
Okay, I mean, would you say the same thing about like raping children or something like that?
Yeah, there's no truth operator.
Okay, I
What's going to
mean,
be your response?
I guess we can
Like,
go
what's
to
your contention
closing.
exactly?
What's my contention? I guess that
Yeah.
if there is no truth, then it would be kind of like trivially true that any discussion on normative ethics would be like pointless, right?
No, if there's no truth, you don't get trivial truths. What are you talking about?
I
You
mean,
don't
you
get
wouldn't get
trivial truths
any
at all.
you wouldn't get any truths.
Yeah, so you just blundered when you said if there's no truth, it's going to be trivially true, right? Because you don't get truth. That's a blunder on your end. But do you actually have any contention? If you don't have any contention, we can conclude. But I wanted this debate to be a little bit longer. I don't want it to just be like a 2-minute debate.
I mean, I guess it's like if nothing is true, then how can you even affirm that it's like
Yeah,
morally
because when we talk about
permissible?
affirming, well, we're not saying it's morally permissible or morally impermissible, but when we talk about affirming here, we can just replace saying that it's true with saying that it's pragmatically acceptable. Insofar as within our given conceptual scheme, it's going to be conflict free, right? There's no member within the set of our given conceptual scheme that offers up some type of undercutting relation towards another member within the set.
Yeah, we can
And undercutting
just
just normative. It talks about reasons to believe.
so if I say the proposition I get the Holocaust was wrong, you would just say that that proposition is not true because there
Yeah.
is no such thing as truth.
Yep. But okay, so look, maybe we can look at it a different way. So imagine we had some type of truth function, right? A truth function is just going to be this thing that you run some proposition through and it determines whether or not it's true or false, right? All we're saying here is that in order for the truth function to work, you need to have consistently truth in and truth out, right? And you also need to have consistently the Alethic property being applicable to propositions, right? All I'm saying here is that you don't consistently get truth in and truth out. And the reason for that is because of things like the liar's paradox, curious paradox, etc. Right? And if you don't consistently have truth in and truth out, then it seems like the entire truth function just fails in virtue of that. Right, and
Okay.
I can give you like a paper. This is explicated by someone in the literature named Will Gamester. He has a paper called "Nothing Is True," where he breaks down why things like the liar's paradox lead to Alethic nihilism. I think Alethic nihilism is the most plausible objection to things like the liar's paradox. Um, but yeah, do you actually have a contention?
I don't know. I feel like maybe the fact that you said that it's not true or false, or not like true or false, that like the Holocaust is wrong and that like raping children is wrong. Like, I feel like that's enough. That's sufficient, at least for me, to like reject whatever view you're proposing.
Okay, and why would that give reasons to reject the view?
Because I think it's absurd.
And by absurd, you just mean unintuitive, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so why would it being unintuitive give reasons to reject the view? right? Because you can have some type of like erosion objection there that just says that these type of views being unintuitive can give the feasible reasons in keeping the hypothesis rather than maximizing the specific thesis that talks about the reduction of these type of unintuitive entities, right? So the account of like these things being absurd giving reason to reject the view would just fail. So how would you respond to that?
Oh no, it kind of just sounded like you were gibberating there for a second. Can you
Okay,
rephrase the
okay.
question?
Yeah, so there's this view called the erosion objection to these uh, type of reductios, right? And the idea there is just that when we have some given hypothesis, right? Take hypothesis H1 and H2. Hypothesis H1 has entities in there that are unintuitive, right? All we're saying is that H1, keeping the entities that are unintuitive within the hypothesis, can give you reasons, the feasible reason in keeping those. Um, Rather than maximizing the thesis that talks about saying that you should accept hypothesis two instead, right? Um,
They're
use
just
that
saying
positive.
positive, you know. Yo, BT3, you might as well just concede to him.
Concede to what?
To the debate, you're not gonna win, boss.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like the people who are watching can judge as to whether or not saying these statements are like there's no truth in whether they're wrong or not.
Okay,
Like
he's
if
back.
that's
He's back. So
absurd.
look, um, yeah. So how would you respond to that type of objection where, you can say we have reason to keep the entities that are unintuitive, because clearly you don't think. Do you think that this type of reason um, holds up absent of like a all else equal clause?
What do you mean by that? Like in
Okay, let's
reference
take
to the
hypothesis
absurdity?
H1 and H2. Um, Absent of like all else equal. So like let's say hypothesis H1 has entities that are unintuitive, but it wins out on other virtues like explanatory power. Do you think even if the entities in H1 are wildly unintuitive, um, do you think you'd still have this type of strict reason to reject the view?
I mean, if it offers explanatory power, but it's still unintuitive, I don't know what work the explanatory power would be doing there. Like, can you give me an example?
Okay, so when we're talking about explanatory power, um, we're talking about whether or not this theory explains a deeper or wider set of relevant facts towards the evidence, right? All I'm asking you is imagine H1 and H2. One has more explanatory power and is wildly, the other has less explanatory power but is more intuitive, right? It's intuition. It pumps your intuition basically, right? I'm just asking, would you agree that you would still have these type of reasons to reject hypothesis one?
Yeah, I think you rephrased what the two things were. Like, what's an example?
Oh, you okay? It's kind of hard to make an example, but uh, we can imagine like something like error theory, right? Um, Error theory has these entities that are severely unintuitive, right? Like you would have to say that it's not going to be like any more propositions wrong. You would agree that saying all more propositions are not true or isn't unintuitive, right? Do you agree to that?
Yeah, very.
Okay, but error theory um, has these type of entities um, that it wins out on explanatory power in the moral domain, right? But um, what I'm asking you here is, you can compare this to something like subjectivism, which is more intuitive, but has more explanatory power. I mean, less explanatory power than error theory, right? Do you think you still have reasons to reject error theory given that it's unintuitive, but it wins out on explanatory power?
I mean, I would fail to see how like error
It's,
theory
it's
would
just a yes or
offer
no.
explanatory power.
I just want a yes or no here. And then after, I think we can conclude because you haven't. You're actually like terrible. You haven't gave any good objections, but I just want a yes or no to that question.
I mean, you like I thought we were going to discuss normative
I
ethics,
just
but
want to
you
yes.
seem
I
to
just want a
kind
yes or
of
no. I
pivot
just want to
to
stop. Look,
meta ethics and then
this is all getting
fight
like aside
crazy
from the point.
bullets.
Do you want to conclude here, retard? Because you're not
Yeah,
answering the question I asked you.
we can conclude. I'll just leave the absurdities as is, and people can judge as to whether that's absurd.
Okay. Yeah, we can
Okay.
conclude here. This nigga's
Yeah,
retarded.
I'll just give verdict. Being fair, right? Capp clearly won the debate, right? Obviously, right? BT3's only form of contentions were trying to kind of extract these absurdities, but Capp just ran through it, pressed them, right? And obviously, BT3 wasn't able to deal with it, right? BT3 provided no contentions to the no like real contentions to the Alethic nihilism point besides those absurdities, right? And he said that, right, it would give the view. Capp pressed it, right? Give examples. BT3 was mostly on defense, kind of getting punched on, right? And then he actually gave a specific example, right? Right, with moral error theory and moral subjectivism, which made sense. So that gets him points. I think BT3 just lost. But I don't know. I feel like this just wasn't a good debate. Just kind of more one-sided.
All right, nice.
But yeah,
Put
I'll
that
give
in the hub,
verdict.
twin.
Got
You
you.
put that in the hub, I'll change the records.
Yo, is Jelly here? PB? PB. I know
Yeah,
PB
but
said she wanted to debate
I do, but I'm
BT3.
like about to drive home, so I'll just debate later.
So what, for the nihilism thing, what domain of philosophy is that?
Alethic nihilism is, I guess you can say it's not really in the domain of theories of truth. It's more like meta, but it just denies truth, right? So it's denying all these theories of truth.
But then you have to like substitute it with something, don't you?
Yep, the acceptability conditions.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, it's hard to argue or give contentions against things that are in a different domain of like not being normal.